Hello and welcome back to the Team 7 podcast. This is episode 3 of Shippuden, which is episode 22 of the entire podcast. We're right now looking at episodes 21 through 32 of Shippuden. So we're dealing with Sasori and Deidara fights with Team 7, or it's not Team 7, Team Kakashi. And then Team Guys still just fighting themselves for a little bit. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. Episode 21. What'd you guys think?
I just want to say that I called it. Sasori looked like a young lad.
He did.
But
you did call that. Great job.
It wasn't exactly the way I predicted it, because I assumed like some kind of jutsu was keeping him in the youthful stage, but it turns out he's just a manic psychopath who made himself into a puppet.
He's just a little cylinder like Iron Man. Iron Man's
such
heart.
a weird concept.
Yeah.
Such a weird concept.
It really is.
Like, where's his body? I want to know. Where's he rotting away at?
Like it's gone, right?
Oh, it's gone. Yeah, he
left.
Yeah, he used a. Now a lot of this is inferred knowledge, not actually said to my current knowledge. This isn't said, but what's inferred is that he used that human puppet jutsu that he has. He used that on himself to turn his body into a puppet, and then put his like life force or whatever, that like heart, into that cylinder that contained his chakra. So that little cell battery, whatever, can be transplanted into any puppet, and he just become that.
As we saw,
yes, which was, I still think is just disgusting. I hate looking at it. Whenever he goes into when he goes into his puppet body, which conveniently looks exactly like him, goes into that new puppet body, no eyes, just holes, blinks, eyeballs. Hate it.
Right.
Is he like Texas chainsawing these people like the third Kazekage?
It's just like a jutsu. We don't really get told. It's just like the jutsu turns a human into a puppet. There you go.
And this is the jutsu that Kankuro explains at the end, post Chio's reanimation jutsu, where he's talking about the that Chio kind of led that task force, correct? That's the one.
Oh yeah, about? Like puppets, like in general, like is very specialized, and we get a lot of exposure to it, especially early Shippuden. But it's really just that like one family, and then Kankuro.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, Kankuro kind of explains that there was a forbidden jutsu where it was able to turn someone into a puppet.
Yeah, that's it.
And so, so that was kind of confirmation that's what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably, hopefully, the only one, because I never want to see those hollow eyes again.
Yeah, I won't give you an answer on that.
Same though. I did make a note too. What an odd choice to have puppets in the show, just in general. It's honestly kind of cool and kind of unique. Like, I can't think of any other story where that's been a thing, really. But I'm kind of wondering if that's part of like a bigger metaphor, puppetry.
It kind of makes me think that it's like because it had like almost like a horror film theme to it. Every time the puppets were around, even when Kankuro was the puppet guy, like it was kind of like this ominous, dark, backpack type puppet thing that had this weird face. It wasn't really, puppets as you know them today, and like, I don't
even any puppet is terrifying.
Marionettes.
Yeah, there you go. The rattling too feels horror film.
Yeah.
Dude, every time they move, they're so clacky. It's just like
so clacky. The clacks are what
clacks.
It's like, gosh, get the clacks out of here.
Get the clacks out.
Come on.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing about this, so it's weird that he is reanimating himself via this little core that transfers into different puppets. Chio calls it it's just a collection of dolls at this point, right? But the third Kazekage, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that's so sinister.
Yeah, it really is. The show did a great job of like making sure that you knew that, hey, this isn't Gaara's father who we're talking about. We're talking about the one right before that. The metal sand to me is just a really cool concept. That, I don't know, like the Sand Village as a whole feels like we get exposed to like very niche like ways of fighting. Like we don't see any sort of sand obviously in the Leaf Village because it's the Leaf Village, but we don't see any like fan using like Tamari, or we don't see any puppet using or use, whatever, however you want to say that, from anyone outside of the Sand Village. So you've got like three very distinctive ways of fighting. And then the metal sand is like on top of that. It's just an interesting concept.
Yeah. I liked it.
I was more kind of cautious in my watching of that than I have ever been of like Gaara's sand prison, just the sand that he uses, because it felt like when you add metal into that, there's so many things you can do that we saw. Just the magnetization of different things, like the fact that he could coat this iron with poison, and that's another dynamic.
Yeah.
It makes me want to have seen some battles with the third Kazekage. But father and mother.
It made me think back to like what I was saying about Neji last week. There's like too many powers. Like you got puppets, you got iron sand, and you got poison in there. Like you got to go.
Yeah,
dude's overpowered,
but still,
and weird.
But still has weaknesses. I mean, Sakura and Chio, they're not like the two that I would consider to be the top tier fighters in this group of people that are going to rescue Gaara, but at the same time, they strategized, they figured it out, and Chio's history with sorcery, and that whole arc was cool to see the backstory there of why Chio's important, of why sorcery is more than just a Nakatsuki, like he's a person that had a background and there's a reason why he's where he's at. Golly, what a story.
Yeah, that's a tragic character too. Yeah. And I mean, clearly, even though he's just this little cylinder, like Nezuko is just in that little cylinder sometimes. I mean, by the end of it, there's some humanity there, according to what Chio said, because she was like, he could have like read my movement, like he could have dodged something along those lines, and he didn't. It was almost like I don't know. I mean, like, what was he thinking in those final moments? But I don't know that we'll ever know that.
Yeah, we don't really know. Like, there was definitely a choice to like accept the blow.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it definitely felt like he was just with, you know, how he made his first puppets were his father and mother, and we saw a lot of action with those two puppets in this fight. It felt like he was just miserable, and it didn't feel like living in that shell of an existence literally was worth going on anymore. And he saw his grandmother again, and my personal belief is that it was like almost I don't even know how to put it to words, but it was almost like, I'm glad I saw her again. I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
So I've seen this series a few times. I don't even know how many. But I've also restarted Shippuden countless numbers of times. So I've seen this arc way too many times now. So to me, when I get to this stretch, this batch to me is the, like, obviously the like climax of the season, but like it just drags on. And I'm curious if you guys felt that on your first watch through, or if that's because I'm like, good Lord, how are we 8 episodes into the Sakura, Chio, and Sasori fight? Like, how is this fight going that long?
The only reason it didn't feel as draggy, I mean, looking back on it, I was like, this was a bunch of episodes, but it didn't feel draggy because of this one right here and how freaking strong she was and how entertaining it was to actually see her fight. I just thought that was really cool. And I get like, we don't need to rehash the whole useless, not useless thing, but she was just really cool in this fight. And at a certain point, she was like, I'm not really even having to pull the strings on her anymore. She's kind of doing this on her own. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I did want to mention real quick, because Zach, you had the Chio thing going last episode. One of my favorite parts of this fight is when it was back and forth between Sasori and Chio. Just great
playing
couple of frames
harp,
right there. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They missed
Cat
their
scratch fever.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Sakura, this arc like really highlights her, and I think that's great. Like I personally just don't get it, and we don't have to go back into it again, obviously. But this arc is like probably like the first one in my argument of like, what are you on about? Because like, let's go down the list of people that have killed an Akatsuki member, or even had part in it. So right now we have Chio, Sakura.
Chio and Sakura.
That's it. No, all of the other Akatsuki members are alive. Yeah. So I mean, it just doesn't compute. It like actually does not compute in my brain. But that's not to say that this doesn't drag on for forever. I'm so happy that we're in season 2, and oh my God, is the intro and outro not 10 times better in season 2, in my opinion.
Ooh, I can't wait.
The reason
we've already seen it.
I think
last 2 episodes. Sorry.
Oh, the last 2 have them in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Flip book, pretty cool. The reason I think it drags on from the first watch through is because 2 reasons. One, actually 3 reasons. All of the different pieces, the clone fight, Deidara, Kakashi and Naruto, and Sakura, Chio, and Sasori. So all those have all these little niche details that they have to like get in. So that's one reason. 2 reasons is they take so long to have a single conversation.
Yeah.
Like specifically when Rock Lee discovers the way to defeat the clones.
Oh my gosh.
Even Neji's like, all right, get on with it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you putting that in there? It's like, we just say it. And it's not even that great of a concept.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It's
so frustrating.
It's so corny.
That it's the answer. They fought for hours on end. The answer was be better. Be better.
Right. Do better today than you did yesterday.
And they all were like, why didn't I think of this shit?
Right. And even Guy was like, oh, it's because you had a great teacher. It's like, dude, come on.
What an absolute dingus.
Yes.
Sorry. The third reason I think that it dragged on first watch through is because everything that we're talking about, I immediately want to go to Toby and Zetsu at the end, because these pieces connect to that at the end. And I'm already like, all right, let's just move on, because there's other things that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I'm like, all these episodes for these last 2 couple episodes, to me, it was so stretched out in so many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. It just feels like, and it really isn't that way in the manga. It's like 20 29 is what's in my hand right now, and they don't start fighting until the end of 29. And by the end of 30, it's already done. So it's not a long fight from the source material. Like, it's not. They just made it long.
I wonder if the pacing of the manga was like, hey, let's drag this out so we're not having to wait and do filler this early.
What do you mean of the anime? But yeah, that's honestly probably got to be a part of it at least.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the anime was like, hey, we had to do all this filler.
Yeah.
Let's just drag this out and give us a little more buffer when we can. So that way we're not having to catch up in the later times.
Right.
Who knows?
We learned from OG, we don't want to put 100 episodes in there of filler.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, I think that this batch, 12 episodes is what we watched. And it felt like less content than like 6 from OG Naruto. Like, we could have half the batch and get more content. And that's why, do you remember at the end of us recording OG Naruto, I said that our batches are going to get bigger because the arcs get longer, but it's not that more is happening. The pacing just gets weird sometimes, and then it will just fly. And that's just one of those parts that, for whatever reason, they used a ton of repeat frames. They used a ton of like filler where it's just not there. Like, there's a lot in that fight that just is purely action to just fill time, and that's fine. But after 5 of them, it's like, good Lord, let's move on. So I was happy to get through this batch, honestly, and to get into more of Shippuden that isn't so fresh in my brain, because when we decided to do this podcast, I was just maybe 30 episodes ahead of this and just like watching it casually. So this is still like less than a year ago in my brain, something that I've watched. So it's not that it's bad. It's just I've seen it enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I felt like Naruto and Kakashi were going to be jumping through that valley of
endless trees.
My goodness.
Endless.
And it wasn't even trees. They were just like,
they're going this way.
The rocks split and there's just trees holding the rocks together. It's so weird. But maybe something was going on in that studio, bro, because I sent you guys a text, but you mentioned repeat frames, and one of the funniest frames, Data is talking to Naruto from the sky on his clay pigeon, dove, whatever it is, dragon, who knows. But Naruto looks back at Kakashi and then turns around and he's like,
eyes are going like the opposite way.
Dude,
oh my God.
It's honestly, as someone who like has a background in art and design, I want it to be on purpose for someone to catch it someday in the future. And whoever you were who drew that, I respect you, and you're doing a great job.
It's amazing.
This show is awesome.
I'm gonna put it
that frame.
I'm gonna put it in the video, as well as the one that Logan sent us with Gara, kind of doing a similar thing. It's just crazy eyes.
Well, I'd like to show you guys if I can. I believe I can share my screen. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. There's that. This is a very real. This is a real frame.
Wow.
This
don't like it.
Also a real frame.
Look at that.
Naruto has some absolute, and the only reason I'm showing you these one by one is because I don't want to accidentally show you spoilers on the Google search page. There's another Naruto's eyes just going the wrong way.
See, this has to be on purpose.
You would think,
like
dude.
They drew that frame by frame.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. Like, it's tough to like meet a quota, but
Sakura.
There's the billboard brow that Eno was talking about.
That's exactly right.
Oh my god, dude!
That looks like one of the like cut scenes when they're like the piggyback scene at the end, and they like cut to her exaggerated face of like grown adults playing piggyback. Weird, but not on purpose.
Oh my gosh! All right, last one.
Yeah.
Look at this.
He's just got such a small little face.
Yeah. But that Sasuke one is very famous because it's just so...
Go back to it for a second.
Well, this is from that might be... There's no way this is real. That looks so bad. I don't think that one's real. There's no way. That's the Sasuke one.
Stuff of nightmares.
Absolutely. Yeah. And did I... Oh, look, Zach. This one... The one you were talking about. Like,
dude,
what's happening in that studio that they're drawing these? Because that's a choice.
That's a choice.
Oh, dude, that's so
I'm
funny.
I'm glad they made it.
Yeah,
because we're enjoying every bit of it.
Yep.
I mean, it's the eyes. If his eyes were normal, decent frame.
Yeah.
So I can't show you. Yeah, it is the eyes. It's totally the eyes. I can't show you the bottom of this meme, but here's another one. We haven't actually seen this yet, but there's two Kakashi. And then Guy is just... I believe this is from a canon episode, by the way. But yeah, this says never pause Naruto, but I can't show you the bottom frame because it's an actual
spoiler.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for Guy, just from what we've seen so far. But I can forgive Guy for that. But
so obviously Naruto has some really weird frames in there. But them jumping through I don't even know what to call it, that valley of roots, I guess, conveniently placed where they can jump off of them. And I love this series, but it's just like sometimes a suspension of disbelief becomes so much that it's like, wow, okay. Like we have to really buckle in to like be okay with this.
Yeah, totally.
Well, we've talked about how they've kind of drugged us on, and honestly, it took so much, and there's not really a ton of meat in those stories, I guess. Maybe there is that you want to talk about. But there's three things that I would love to just discuss.
Yeah.
Aside from this drawn out, unnecessary battles. Three things. One would be Gaara. We need to revisit that conversation. Two is the new guys that we saw.
Yeah.
Zetsu and Toby.
And then we also need to talk about
Sai. That was the third.
So let's start with the biggest. Like, this is what I wanted. This is like the culmination of the entire arc, obviously. And Gaara, lo and behold, comes back to life. I stand by what I said last week because I purposely said Gaara is dead because he was the name of the episode dead.
Too. Yeah,
that's true. He was actually dead.
So this is not me backtracking. Okay, this is
this is pander.
Let me just say this
under our hot takes section, Zach. It sounds like
no, because I guess what I was trying to say is like, even if he is dead, I knew they weren't gonna like leave him dead. Like, I knew it wasn't gonna be this is the end of Gaara.
Yeah,
and I was right, and you were right at the same time. Asher, just leave it alone.
I was in the middle. You're right. I was wishy-washy. I was like, I don't know.
Wait, let me say that because I knew it was happening, it was impossible for me to be wrong. I just could lead you down the wrong path. Oh my God. I just want to make sure everybody on the internet knows that I am right. I'm just playing.
I guess in the deepest part of me, I was like, this is not the end of Gaara because they didn't give him the send off. Like I said maybe it's coming. And I'm not going to lie, for a second there, I made some notes. I was like, Sakura is trying to heal him, and she confirmed that he's gone. And even when, the Nine Tails cloak is brought out of Naruto because he's so upset that Gaara's gone, I was like, dang, okay, it's over. We're going to get to see the end of Gaara. They at least have the body. We're going to see a funeral of some sort. But the moment that Chio lady started making her hands blue, I knew it. I knew it. Naruto said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I knew. Okay, yeah. He's coming back to life. God bless.
Zach, did you have any inkling when they were still in the cave, which was not a cave anymore thanks to Sakura, but Chio says something like, there's one more thing I have to do? Did you have any inkling that it was like, oh, she's going to use that power to bring him back?
Not a clue. Not a clue. I thought it was, honestly, my initial thoughts were that she was going to do something else with the Akatsuki, with either something to do with the White Fang.
Yeah.
And like, hey, finish what you started, or what your father started, and who knows? Like, at the end of the day, I was like, all right, Chio. I didn't know how I felt about Chio, like, she was kind of annoying. She had some moments where I respected her. She's definitely got the experience that, like, you just have to respect in a lot of ways. Like, she knows what she's talking about.
Sort of atoning for her sins in a way, getting a redemption arc,
yeah.
I'd say.
And she even says that too, of like, in the moment with Naruto, like, I've done a lot of pointless things in my life, but now I have a moment to do something for good. And
I was kind of wondering,
to answer your question, that's not what I thought.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if that's why this arc was so long, because if it was any shorter, would that have delivered as much? Like, I mean, when I first saw her as a character, I was like, I don't want to get invested in this person. Like, she seems, I don't know, just ornery. I'll say ornery. And like, part of me, even in that initial visit to the Sand Village, I was like, she's probably going to have some redemption arc, and I just like wasn't here for it. But I think it delivered as a result of there being that many episodes. But there could have been maybe one less,
Yeah, and
or two.
And
okay,
honestly,
3.
I think 1 or 2 would be plenty there, because plenty to cut out. Because if you take the meat of those episodes and replace them, everything else feels much more full. So, I mean, I don't think it needs to be like, I personally, if I was going to go through and recut this part of the arc, I think I would do well to get 1 full episode out. But because each episode does, the Logan cut, just because, each episode does have like pieces that are very important. It's just those like little time fillers where it's like, you've watched nothing for 10 seconds now. And then you do that 6 times throughout the episode, throughout 23 minutes, and you've shaved a minute of actual work for your animators. But
it's like this still frame, and it's just like moving across it.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But I do like this part of the story. Gaara coming back to life is so emotional. Even knowing what's going to happen, it's just like, just a nice sacrifice, because, and Kakashi even talks about it. He's like, somebody brings it up. I can't remember who brought it up, but then Kakashi tags in on the end, talking about it being a fitting death for a shinobi. But basically that, like, she never cared about the future of the village, much less the village of others. So like, she cared only for herself, a little bit for the Sand Village. That's it. So to sacrifice herself, really unnecessarily, like, she didn't have to do that. and she decided to sought it out to the fact that she like chased them down while being poisoned. Now this is the same exact poison, at least maybe even worse than what Kankuro got that took him out immediately. So I mean, she's obviously in a ton of pain. Sakura's there to help with what she can, but like it is a sacrificial choice that she's made. So I like that. I like the symbolism that it brings. And I think that Gaara is just an awesome character. And it would have really been a shame for him to have a redemption arc only to be killed. Because we never really, like, we very little have seen Gaara be the good guy. We got to see him be the good guy with the Kimimaro fight, and we loved that. But that, was kind of the end of the fight. Like, we got, like, most of the fight was Rock Lee. So I'm excited for you guys to get to see and learn Gaara as a good guy, an ally.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, if he died this early and with that short of a redemption arc, that would have been a real Attack on Titan kind of move.
100%.
I think that's why I was so ready for it, because that's so fresh in my mind. I did want to just give a quick demonstration of him coming back to life, and there he is. Look at him. Dude, wow. I'll be going crazy buying some off-brand Naruto Lego figures for like $1 from that Team U website.
I love that. So, okay, so okay, we'll do that conversation later. Go ahead, Zach. I was going to derail this.
No, you're fine. I just want to like talk about the pacing of it with Chiyo and Sakura. The only piece that I see there is like, I really felt the connection between them towards the end because they had went through it. Even though it was one battle, I feel like had Chiyo been able to stay longer, I feel like Sakura, just like she was Tsunade, she would have went to her for like guidance and understanding of a different perspective of skills and jutsu and all that stuff. And when they go to say their farewells at the headstone, and she kind of stays the longest. Naruto and Sakura stay longer than everybody else, but then Sakura stays even longer than Naruto does. That scene wouldn't have landed as heavy without the amount of time that we had. But
it's a great point.
This is going to sound very cold of me. I would rather have sacrificed that scene to move the story along, But when Tamari and Kankuro are talking about what you were talking about with Kakashi of, the history of Ebizo and
Ebizo
and Chiyo, it's pieces like that I'm glad that they put in there, even though that's for a split second. But that's the stuff I want to know more than, like Sasori's backstory is great, but get through the battle. Like, I don't know. I prefer the story. I think I've said this a few times. And then if it's like a super heavy battle, like, yeah, give it to us. But if it's just this like piece of the puzzle that's going to move across the story for something else, I'd rather see that.
Yeah.
So
I feel that. So, obviously Chiyo and Sakura defeat Sasori, and then basically that took most of the batch. But then Naruto and Kakashi chase Deidara for forever, and then the
7
fight
episodes.
was 10 seconds, which is okay because we already had a fight between Gaara and Deidara, like, whatever.
We hate Deidara.
But we got to see something super cool from Kakashi with the Mangekyo Mangekyo Sharingan. So what did you guys think about that? Because we saw it with Itachi, and we saw Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan Senjutsu. What about Kakashi's?
This one's different. And
it is
I like
different.
It better.
Okay. Not so hellish.
Yeah.
It's for sure different. I just don't know that we've seen enough of it to really make a stance for me, because it didn't really do much to Deidara in the end. Like, what's he doing? Hiding in the woods? Like, he's not damaged from what I can tell. I mean, he's able to put Toby in a headlock at the end. Like, I want to see more, and I hope it's a great one. To me, it's just like, what is not going right with this?
Well, it's very
it's got a cool effect
to Kakashi, and I agree with you.
Sure,
but we will get. Obviously, Kakashi is a very integral part of the story, so we're going to get more exposure to that. But right now, it's definitely supposed to be a little tease to intrigue you about it, but we barely see any of it, and we don't even see it. We don't like knowing what it is and what you got and what we just watched in this batch is not the same. So.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that develop because I can't really remember how that develops. Like how you guys will get to the knowledge that I have. I don't remember that trip at all. Just one day you know it.
Yeah, it's definitely cool and it looks powerful. I just don't know that I've seen enough to.
That makes sense. I mean,
don't know that I've seen enough.
Yeah, and he didn't he wasn't super successful with it either. Like his arm, like really all that, like Datara said, his arm went to oblivion or was being pulled into oblivion. And that was kind of it.
Well, on that note, it's making me wonder if there is some other dimension. And I mean, in any story, there's typically maybe it's an afterlife. Maybe it's just another dimension that's kind of separate from whatever we're experiencing as the audience, right? But with Itachi's Mangekyo thing, it kind of makes me wonder if he's sort of sending them to another dimension or if it's just a trick on their mind.
It is just a genjutsu.
It is. Okay, gotcha.
But that's because, like, you remember... I'm so sorry.
You're good. I was just going to say with the hounds, Kakashi's dogs, yes. Right? Are they in another dimension or are they on Earth, whatever this is, somewhere, and he summons them from that place, but it is in that dimension.
Yeah, same world.
Current.
Yeah.
World. Thank you.
Same planet, summoned from one place to another. Right. But let's see. There was something that...
Can I make a prediction?
I want a prediction.
You can, but there was something that you said at the beginning, Asher, that I don't want to forget, that I started to jump in on.
How?
Oh, no, it was about I just want to say this real quick. So, Itachi is like a genjutsu user, and Kakashi at one point calls Sakura a genjutsu user, like something that they're naturally more attuned to. So,
I see.
Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan, it makes sense that it would be a genjutsu, and it actually is a genjutsu. So now that we know Kakashi is something else, we will learn that. But that I just want to kind of like reaffirm, hey, gotcha. That is just a genjutsu. That didn't like Itachi didn't get crucified 10,000 times for 3 days. It was just in his mind.
My prediction is that we're going to get a backstory of the hounds at some point, and it's going to be a filler episode, and we're going to get a reveal of where they live, and it's going to be called Hound Town.
I hope it isn't. I hope not.
Do you think the theme is going to change to like the Baja Men or something? And then Who Let the Dogs Out will just play it, like snippets will play throughout the episode.
I'm going to throw up.
I hope so.
I'm going to throw up on my desk on purpose. So
Logan hates it here.
I do. Let's talk about these new people we met. Let's talk about Toby. Let's talk about Zetsu.
Just there's something about the name Toby that just, I'm not going to apologize to all the Tobys out there, but I want them to know that I thought about it, and I'm not going to do it. But it just feels like such a dweeb.
Well, it's like The Office to me.
Toby.
Like it's just immediately Toby Flenderson.
Goof. He's a goof.
So we got a name for the Venus flytrap guy. His name's Zetsu. Mr. Zetsu, as Toby calls him. And then we got Toby. I I get the idea of what you're saying, that he seems like a dweeb, but I just have a feeling about that guy that he's going to be some piece of this story.
Really? Like a bigger,
Like,
not just a henchman?
Yeah, I don't get like Kabuto vibes. Does that make sense?
It does.
What do you mean?
I get
what do
like,
you mean Kabuto vibes?
Like powerful, but like who cares about him?
You feel that way about Kabuto?
Mean? You think Toby?
No, I feel that way about Kabuto. It's like, yeah, he's whatever, but like I don't care about Kabuto.
So you think Toby like, not powerful, but he will be integral?
I feel like maybe he is powerful in a way that Naruto is. He just doesn't like have that piece of the. He's not there yet. It's almost like a Naruto on the other side of the fence. Like
I like that.
A Naruto in training, but for the bad guys.
Yeah.
Or the good guys if you're a fan of the Akatsuki. Who knows? But I don't know. I've something about his character design, the ominous nature that we don't know what his face looks like, the silliness of it. I just feel like he's going to be a bigger piece to the story of Naruto as a whole than just some goofy little comic relief.
Interesting. I kind of hope you're right, but I don't feel that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds like, confirm or deny this, it sounds like he's voiced by the same person who does Rock Lee.
Ooh, interesting.
At least on the dub.
So I watched all sub, and then I didn't get through all of this in the dub. So I didn't actually hear his voice in dub yet, but I need to go back and watch that.
Oh boy, do you.
It's very, very similar, in my opinion.
Wow.
He's funny, though. I mean, he's like, hey, now that we have a spot open, can I take it? And Zetsu's like, you fool. You know, like, you act like it's that easy.
I mean, technically, there was a spot open before if... Orochimaru. Almost said Orochimaru. If Orochimaru.
Well, that's not true.
What?
That's not true, though.
Tell me.
From my understanding, there's 9 members because there's 9 Jinchuriki. There's only 9-tail. There's like 9-tailed fox is the most powerful one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my conclusion. Is like Orochimaru kind of left and somebody else took his spot. I don't think Orochimaru was a part of a 10.
So it was 9, and now it's 9
but we don't know
again.
that.
And now it's 8.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Can't do that kind of math. I'm a drummer, so I can only count to 4.
That.
But my biggest question is, now that Gaara's back, does he still have Shikaku? Or was that extracted?
But is that
what you said, Logan?
If it's extracted, then the host dies.
Yeah, if it's extracted, the host dies. But if Naruto were to be killed, the 9-tailed fox would just come out. Like the seal would break because Naruto's dead, and then he would come out in like his full form, like we saw from episode 1.
Oh,
but see, Chio, knowing full well that happened, still said watch after him and all this other stuff. So to me, it doesn't feel like the Chicago's gone, but it's just pure thoughts.
Yeah. Well, it does seem like they successfully extracted him into whatever those eyeballs were or whatever, because then Gaara died. But I don't know. I do wonder if he has some power left, because I mean, technically he could still train and like learn new jutsu and stuff, but I'm assuming he's just not going to be. Well, I'm assuming he's not going to be as powerful. But then again, I mean, there was that part in episode 220 of OG where like it's part of the filler arc, but we see him fighting and suppressing Shikaku. So he is technically using like his own power. But I just wonder if some of that was drawn from Shikaku, and then he was like, I'm not going to let you kind of well up like you have before, but I'm still kind of using your power or drawing from your power.
That is correct.
Okay.
So the answer to the dubbed voicing, it is two different guys for Rock Lee and Toby. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of English voice actors, so there is definitely a lot of overlap between series. Like you'll find a lot of the same, and this happens in Japanese dubbing as well. But you see a lot of like repeat voices between series, but not so much within the same series as if it is a bigger character. Like Rock Lee is a bigger of the two than Toby, because we've spent some time with Rock Lee, obviously, and Rock Lee is still not like a huge character, and those characters are still big enough to need two different voices.
Gotcha.
You know, and I'm sure there are exceptions to that, because the guy who does Iruka does Shino. So I mean, my theory's out the window now. I don't know. But everybody else only does
same guy.
one. Same person who does Iruka, Shino, and two people I can't tell you. So he does 4 people from the dub.
There's definitely crossover there. One that I found out recently is the same guy who does Eren Yeager does Inosuke from Demon Slayer.
Wow. Interesting. I don't know if I know. I've not watched Demon Slayer in dub. I know it's good because I've seen like clips from like on social media, but I never I watched all of that in subs. So I don't know if I can even recall Inosuke's voice in the dub. I watched Attack on Titan and definitely uses sub and dub. So I know Eren's voice is more like calm, but I'm thinking like late series.
Dub Eren can have its Inosuke moments for sure. But Inosuke is like full throttle all the time.
Gotcha. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wonder how many other people share this opinion, but I think Dub Eren early in the series was one of the most annoying voices.
Early series, you mean like child or like fresh into the cadets?
I guess seasons 1 through 3 and part of 4. Yeah, just an annoying person.
Okay. Did you watch all of...
Always screaming and...
Did you watch all of yelling? Attack on Titan and dub?
If you were in that reality, would you not be screaming all the time? Life would be crazy, bro.
I guess you're right.
Well,
answer Logan now.
Back to the... it's not even worth it. Back to the podcast that we're actually here for. Or the anime we're actually here for. Let's talk about Psy now, because I think that we've kind of covered everything else. So
crop top,
love it.
Crop top,
Psy, Sasuke replacement? Question mark.
Whoa, I was not even thinking that. And who cares about Sasuke? But here's what I think about Psy. Jinchuriki.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that one to bed because of something I've told you in the past. No village has more than one Jinchuriki.
And he has that leaf on his forehead, bruh.
Oh.
But I got, you know what I got the vibes of?
Anticlimactic.
He was robotic, and it made me think Saucery found a new host. Immediately. I was like, this guy seems like super robotic.
I don't
he's like, I don't even know how to make facial expressions, and I'm smiling, and this guy's like, don't do that. But yeah, that's totally very outlandish, and I don't think it's actually true. It's just, why is he so robotic? Is he human?
We will get our answer pretty soon-ish.
Maybe he just doesn't do social cues too well or something.
He doesn't.
Maybe.
He sure doesn't. It's quite awkward.
But I would be awkward around him with that crop top on.
Because he makes you feel
like, hey, bro, where's the rest of your shirt, bro? It ain't there.
I would actually ask if he could maybe wear a shorter crop top, because I think that if every character wore a crop top, the show would be better.
I would hold my arms
even
up
the belly,
and say, "Can you make mine into one?"
Like
Just
third Hokage, better with a crop top.
100%.
No.
Yes,
It's
Naruto
the back
better with a crop
for
top.
me.
Kakashi
Saucer.
better with
When
a crop
he's
top.
like
better with a crop top.
Saucer, yeah. Yes. Well, Sasori, still in Hiruko, better with a crop top.
Zetsu,
better.
Come on with it.
Neji, better with a crop top.
Hundo P.
No.
What?
That's my answer. It's no. I don't like the crops.
Iruka, better with a crop top.
This man hates the crops.
No. It's like the belly doesn't bother me, but when he turns around and it's like the classic anime.
You don't like the small of the back.
It's like looking back. I'm just like, bro, put a shirt on. I don't like that.
Granny Chia, better with a crop top.
100%.
My guy, better with a crop top.
No.
He would, though.
He would.
Itachi,
if
better
it gave
with a crop
him more
top.
attention.
God.
Ramen guy, better with a crop top. It's endless.
Absolutely. Ramen guy, show me your
show me your belly button.
Pour that
show
bra.
Me your navel. Show me your navel, ramen guy.
Oh my god.
Be sexy with that broth.
Yeah, Sai is a mystery though.
Does he get a new wardrobe?
I don't know. Gonna have to.
Let's leave that. We'll just leave that part of mystery.
Yeah, we'll leave that part of mystery.
Before we wrap it up, did you guys watch the story arc party at the end of this?
The what?
The story arc party?
No.
There's like a little short film at the end of each episode. Do you guys ever watch those?
I have been watching some of the ones from this one, but I don't remember the one from this one.
Tsunade starts it off. She's like, well, welcome to the story arc ending party. I figured we could just let everybody just have a good time and celebrate Gar coming home and, this story being done. So yeah, just have a good time. And then it's like Sakura and Naruto running around like man on the street, like Billy Eichner. Like, hey, Kankuro and Tamari, what'd you guys think about the amount of airtime you had this story? And they were like, yeah, what's up with that? Like we did like all the work and yet we didn't get any showtime.
That's funny.
And Tamari's
dude.
like pissed. And then Naruto goes over to Gaara and I don't even remember what he says, but then at the end, Kankuro and Tamari are like off to the side, still talking to Sakura. And he's like, well, maybe they can get more airtime in the next story. And Naruto's like, yeah, you guys didn't hear from the producers? They're like taking a hiatus. And they're like, what?
That's funny.
And so
I wonder if there was a break between seasons.
I think they were just saying like, this doesn't have anything to do with Tamari or Kankuro, so they're not going to be used for a while.
Yeah.
And they find out at the party.
They're like, what?
They're like, oh man, we didn't get recast. That's funny. I need to go back and rewatch.
You guys have to go watch it.
Yeah, I definitely will. Coming up next is the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. So we got a little bit of it from Sasori. As he was dying, he told Sakura and Chio that he had planned to meet one of Orochimaru's henchmen at the Tenchi Bridge. So that's what we're going into next. Our next batch is going to be episodes 33 through 39. So I think that's 7 episodes if I'm doing quick math well. But so a little bit shorter than last time. This arc overall is shorter by 10 episodes. So we're still going to have 3 episodes to cover it, but our batches will be a little bit shorter, a little bit more digestible, but there is a lot that happens here. So it's good. This is going to be a good one to go through.
I had a prediction to make that was a more short-term thing, and I forgot it. But my more long-term prediction is I don't think Gaara is ever going to be funny on this show. You know how like even the most serious of anime characters have like their kind of goofy moments? I just can't see Gaara ever being goofy or silly or funny. But now that I've said it, I hope it happens. You know what
I
I'm
would
saying?
love for that to happen as well. I don't know of one.
Right.
It would have to be
make
something
sense.
like in the like post credits, like or in a
Like
filler.
See, Zach, you saying that about the post credits thing for 32 made me think of that. Like, would he ever have like a funny moment with Naruto? Kind of everybody else does a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because Naruto is so goofy.
Let me ask a question, Logan. Because I am addicted to these short little films at the end of each episode, you have to watch the like, here's what's coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get to that point, do I have your blessing to give Asher hope for the next episodes of somebody I saw that he's going to want to see? Or should I just leave it?
Just say it. If you think
Wait,
it's
so
fine,
you hold on. So you got a preview of somebody who's gonna be in the next few episodes because of the Tsunade weather report thing?
No, that was at the end. So you have to see, you know how each show is like coming up next? It's like, here's a preview of the next episode.
Yeah.
For like people on air to be like, here's what next week I've got to look forward to. And they just showed little clips of like what we're going to see in the next couple episodes or next episode, I guess.
I think that you're fine. I if it was, especially
it's somebody
if it's
we've seen before.
No, I want to guess. It's somebody we've seen. Who
I don't
get
even
to
know.
see
In a while.
some more. It's
it's going to be
deal.
Anko. It's Anko.
Just,
it's definitely Anko.
I didn't see Anko, but thanks for ruining it, bro.
Okay, then who is it?
It's really not that big of a deal, but we get to see Naruto and Hinata.
Hinata? Who is Hinata?
Hinata?
Oh, Hinata. Yeah. I was thinking the same
Hinata.
person, but I was like, wait.
It's like
what's her name?
Hinata
we also
and Hayate put together.
Hinata.
Go Hayate. May he rest in peace.
We also get to see more Shino next episode, which I'm excited about.
I'll be honest, it kind of feels like you both have spoiled a lot of things.
Shino being in the next episode is a shock for me as well because I haven't watched it yet, obviously. And knowledge of this.
I mean, it didn't look like he was like a pivotal piece of it. It showed him and Sheba. And
Sheba?
I was just... Or what's it? Kiba.
Oh, Kiba.
That was a Kiba.
Yeah, dude.
Shikamaru.
It was that guy Ochimaru, Shiba, and they were going around everywhere with Hinata.
Well, we also get to see Sasakura take a. She really is depressed after Chiyo's death.
If they ever do get together, that's the perfect combination of names, like Brangelina kind of thing. Sasakura.
All right. Well, we are done wasting your time with this. We'll just stop recording and keep this bullshit up. So episodes 33 through 39, Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. So new arc, new intro and outro, which we got a little sneak peek. They, for whatever reason, I don't know why this happens, but they changed the intro and outro a couple episodes early each time. So cool stuff. So we'll see you then.